Apparently, according to the ABCD community, you can change your gender, but you can't change your race. It's a bit bigoted of them because I identify as a white woman, and I'm sure you are able to do that. But I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's get into the video.
In your opinion, do you believe that somebody can change their gender?
I honestly think so. If you truly believe that you should be a different gender, I think that's fine. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Because I think like it's becoming more accepted and some people are like born not knowing. There's also, we're learning about in my psychology class right now, like there's some people who are like genetically a different gender than what they're like biologically.
Like gender dysphoria.
Yeah. We've already started off with some stupid statements, and I'm sorry for pausing it right now, but I have to address the nonsense I just heard. She just said that people are genetically not the gender that they are, but I thought gender was a social construct according to these people. And if it's the case that it's a social construct, you can't be genetically a gender you claim you are. But of course, I don't expect much from these people, and the sad thing about it all is these people are college students.
Well, I mean, you can get certain procedures that change your physical appearance. I feel like what you conceptualize your gender as, that's something that lives in your head, you know? That's something that's personal to you. So, I don't know. I don't really see a distinct relation between gender and the procedures people go through to be transgender.
I believe that gender is not connected to your physical body, and it's more of a representation of yourself.
For the people who are watching this video, please help me because this is going to be a painful video from what I'm already witnessing. If it's a case that your gender doesn't represent your physical body, then why do people change their physical body to try and match on to their gender? And I know these people are college students, but it doesn't seem like these people are asking the big questions.
Gender is perception. It's more of an expression, a performance. Sex is different, although that can also be changed. That's like literally the name of like sex change operations, right? Yeah.
I think gender is a societal construct, so I don't see why they can't.
I think that gender really is just like a social construct. Gender roles and stuff like that like don't need to exist in the first place. But since society, like we do have these like gender roles and structures, people should be able to change it because it's their own choice. It doesn't really affect anybody else whatsoever. It's whatever they want to do. So, yeah.
There's a lot of fine lines between what people believe out there, but I believe that if you are something else that you're not, then you can work hard to change that, but if you don't, then that's just kind of how it is.
Gender kind of is just sort of how you want to interact with social expectations, and so someone can change the way in which they what they want and how they express themselves. So
You know, people can do what they want.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's like a personal decision.
I believe that sex and gender are two different things. Someone might not be able to change their biological sex, but I think that they can change their gender, as gender is a spectrum.
if you think you can change your gender, do you believe that you could also change your race?
No, I think that's a line. I think race is more biology.
You don't think gender would be considered biology because you're born, you know, depending on the private parts that you're born with?
Well, that part I think is biology, but I think there's an identity part of it that is like fluid for some people, whereas race is like purely biology, and I think that is definitely a line.
I mean, if you hit a Michael Jackson and like bleach your skin, in the same way you can like appear to have changed those characteristics about yourself, but I mean,
Doesn't actually mean you're changed.
Yeah, you're still who you were before, and you're still who you are now.
I remember learning about propaganda when I was younger in my history class, and it's very interesting to see propaganda be at play in today's world in 2024 in 4K, 180p, whatever you want to call it. These students are so propagandized that they say nonsense like race can't be changed, but gender can be changed, and gender is a social construct and race isn't. Race will be more of a social construct, but because these people are not very smart, they say absolute nonsense. And once again, I'll reiterate, these people are college students and more than likely also can vote.
A person with bleached skin or applied melanin.
I think when you're changing your gender or you're transitioning, it's genitals don't really like determine your experience socially or physically, but I think that your race definitely does determine your social experience, your life experience.
That's a completely different concept. There's just a lot more that goes into race, such as like the amount of melanin that's in your skin, where you were born on the planet.
Before we get back into the video, I need everyone to turn on their post notifications so that you get notified whenever one of my videos come out. Like the video as much as possible, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitter at YinkaThatGuy. Let us get back into the video.
It's a lot more complicated than gender and sex.
No, because that's not a social construct, unlike gender. But actually, in my anthropology 1010 class I'm in right now, we actually learned that race really doesn't actually even matter that much, and it's actually your ethnicity that matters more, and like the culture that like you grow up in and where you live, and that has so much more of an impact on you than like your race. And what I didn't even know is that like your ethnicity can actually like impact like your physical features and stuff, which mind-blowing to me. I had no idea. But
so you can change your gender but not your race.
Yes.
I don't think that race is something that you can change. You, of course, with specific races would have different cultural expectations based on like regions. And so it's sort of hard to even just divide along racial lines. But I don't think that that same logic applies through how gender would be changed. It's laughable to me, but I don't find a gender change to be something that is impossible. So, yeah.
So you can be, say you can be transsexual, you can have those surgeries done, but you can't be transracial.
Right, but typically people don't say transsexual at this point in time just because the science has sort of moved away from that.
Why is that?
Oh,
not up to term.
Right, so transsexual sort of people will use that, or would previously use that more in like pre-Y2K. It's sort of changed into transgender is typically what people use now.
All of these people should just have a degree in speaking absolute nonsense, because when he was asked this question, he didn't even answer the question at the end of it all. He was just rambling on a bunch of nonsense, trying to make himself sound smart, and in the end, he sounded stupid, as usual with a lot of these people. And the rainbow colored hair told me all I need to know. And for all of my people who do have rainbow colored hair in the comment section, do not come for me, because if you don't have the same opinions as these people, I appreciate you. And I know not everyone with rainbow colored hair thinks the same way these people do, but it is a pretty good sign to tell me what the person thinks.
Which is what you sort of hear. But transsexual was definitely something that I've heard more I've had it come up in classes before, but it hasn't been something that necessarily, I think, that sort of was a tangent.
No, people don't use that term anymore.
Right. I don't think it's as commonly used. I think that it definitely has like importance for like how people started discussing these sort of topics. But I think it's also really important to then go to like different groups and understand them and use words that they empathize with, because I think that that's more important to be.
Okay, so transgender would be one that changes, the way that they feel, right? Is that kind of what you're saying? And then transsexual is somebody that actually undergoes surgery.
Yeah, I typically transgender would also. I find that people usually will use that label as well for gender reassignment surgeries, but I don't think that transsexual is necessarily something that I would personally use to refer to someone who's undergone surgeries.
I mean, kind of, because both are rooted in biology, you would say, right? Race and gender for the most part. Most people are born with one, whether it's a penis, vagina, whatever terms you want to use.
Yeah.
So when you apply, biology to it, do you think that would kind of be the same?
No, it's just different. I don't think you can.
So why do you think you could change your gender but not your race?
No clue. I don't know. Maybe like kind of going back to like what she said, maybe like not fully change your gender, but like express yourself how you want. I think anyone can express themselves how you want, but you can't just like do a full like switch up.
These answers right here from these women should tell you all you need to know that they don't think for themselves. I'll translate for everyone who's watching this video. Essentially what they just said was, because I've not been told what to say, I don't know if you can actually change your race. But when the media do tell me what to say, then I'll be able to give you an answer. And that's why I say that all of these people are like robots that have chips installed in them and they have the same programming.
So you can't actually change it. You can express yourself in a more feminine.
Yes, you can express yourself how you feel like you want to, but I don't think you can just like switch.
I think that race can't be changed because of the prejudices that are associated with race fundamentally, while that same prejudice and that same history isn't applied strictly to gender.
Biologically speaking, do you think, somebody could kind of make that same argument when it comes to races? They feel like they have been discriminated against, or they feel like a different race. Why couldn't you identify, say as a different skin color compared to a different gender, in your opinion?
Anybody can claim to be anything or anyone. I think that, again, it is a personal choice. If somebody chooses to identify as a different race, that is a choice. It's not one that I personally agree with, but there are a lot of people that wouldn't agree with changing your gender identity. Things that are personal choices should stay personal for the most part, should be given the same respect that they would give other people.
Race is objective, whereas gender is not.
Why isn't gender objective compared to, because a lot of people tie gender with sex. It's only been in recent years that we've kind of separated those two. When you're born, they say you're born a boy or you're born a girl. There's a gender. Obviously with the trans debates, things going on in society right now, that has kind of changed. The paradigm window has shifted on that. But do you think that a connection between gender and race could be made in a biological sense?
I don't think that gender is biological. I think that race is, though. I do think that sex and race are connected, but not gender and race.
Okay, but so you can change your gender, but you can't change your sex.
Right.
Do you believe that someone can change their gender?
No, it's the one that you're born with.
A lot of people have been, when I ask this question, they say it's a social construct. It has no connection to being born a certain way, whether you're a boy or a girl on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
Why do you think that line of thought has kind of entered this culture?
I think that it has to do with relativism really entering our culture, and people thinking that there's not like really a law that applies to everybody. I think like people separating gender from sex really comes from this view of relativism that I can make anything what I want it to be.
It's really a breath of fresh air to see a sane person speak. And what tends to come with the sane person is they tend to always look normal as well. And I'm not saying that the people who believe in the ABCD nonsense don't look normal, because some of them do. But usually the people who have a sane mind usually look normal.
It really comes from this view of relativism that I can make anything what I want it to be.
Theoretically, say you did believe, you could change a gender or something like that. Don't you think that same thing could be applied to race in that situation? Because it's something you're born.
I know, yes.
So,
No, I think if you apply it to sex and gender, then you have to apply it to everything else. And a lot of people wouldn't agree with the whole race thing, and I think that's inconsistent. I think if you can change one thing about yourself, then you should be able to change everything about yourself, but that's not how our society likes it.
Yeah, not how it works in the real world.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to damage everyone's brains too much from watching this video, so I had to leave you with at least someone who had some smart things to say at the end. Anyway, that was another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, as I usually say, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and X at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.